All right, everybody, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive with us.
Absolutely. Always excited to dig into these fascinating words with you.
Today, we're trekking through another batch of words from the Oxford 5000. You know, that incredible list of essential English words.
It's like a treasure trove. Each word holds so much depth and nuance just waiting to be uncovered.
So buckle up. We're about to unlock some serious word power with this set.
And, we're going way beyond those dry dictionary definitions. We'll explore the origins of these words, how they're used in different situations, and even uncover some unexpected connections.
Trust me, this deep dive is going to be memorable. No pun intended.
I see what you did there. All right, let's jump right in. Our first word is memo.
Memo. Okay, so think of it as that little note you might get at work, like a quick announcement or update.
Exactly. Short for memorandum, it's typically used for internal communication within an organization.
Right, like my boss sent out a memo about the new dress code policy.
Perfect example. Or how about, before the meeting, please review the memo outlining the key discussion points.
Oh, and I jotted down a quick memo to myself so I wouldn't forget to pick up the dry cleaning. See? Super useful word.
Now let's shift gears to something more personal. Memoir.
Memoir. This one has a different feel to it, doesn't it? It's more about personal stories and reflections.
Precisely. And it's closely tied to the word memory, sharing the same root. A memoir is essentially a written account of someone's life experiences, often focusing on specific events or periods.
Like her memoir about her childhood in wartime Europe became an instant bestseller.
Exactly. It offers a unique window into someone's personal journey. Or you could say, he's working on a memoir that details his incredible journey from a small village to a successful entrepreneur.
And how about this? My grandmother's memoir is a treasured family heirloom filled with stories of her life. It's like a legacy passed down through generations.
Now, speaking of memories, how about the word memorable? We all have those experiences that just stick with us, those moments we cherish.
Those are the best. That concert was so memorable, I still get chills when I hear their songs.
Absolutely. It's not just about remembering something. It's about the lasting impact it has on you. Or their wedding day was a truly memorable occasion filled with laughter, joy, and a whole lot of dancing.
And for a lighter example, my first attempt at baking a cake was certainly memorable, mostly because I set off the smoke alarm. Oops.
Haha, we've all had those moments. Okay, let's move on to a word with a slightly more somber tone, memorial.
Memorial. This one makes me think of ways we honor and remember those who are no longer with us.
You're spot on. It often involves a physical structure or a ceremony dedicated to commemorating a person or event. For instance, they built a memorial to commemorate the soldiers who died in the war.
Right, a way to pay tribute and ensure their sacrifice is never forgotten. Or it can be an event like the town held an annual memorial service for the victims of the earthquake.
Exactly. It's about keeping their memory alive. And even something more personal like, we planted a tree in our garden as a living memorial to our beloved pet.
Speaking of guidance and support, let's talk about the word mentor.
Mentor. It's that individual who provides guidance, support, and wisdom, often in a professional or personal context. Think of it like having a trusted advisor by your side helping you navigate challenges and achieve your goals.
Right, like she was fortunate to have a successful businesswoman as her mentor, guiding her career choices.
Precisely. A mentor can have a profound impact on someone's life. Or you could say the mentorship program paired young professionals with seasoned leaders in their field, fostering valuable connections.
And it doesn't have to be a formal arrangement. My older sister has been a great mentor to me, offering advice on everything from relationships to finances.
Mentors come in all shapes and sizes. Now let's step into the world of commerce with merchant.
Merchant. Okay, this one brings to mind images of bustling marketplaces filled with people buying and selling goods.
Exactly. A merchant is essentially anyone involved in the trade or exchange of goods. They can be individuals or companies, but the core idea is the same: commerce. Imagine a bustling marketplace filled with merchants selling everything from handcrafted goods to exotic spices.
Right. It's the heart of trade and commerce. Or in today's digital age, you could say, Online merchants have revolutionized the way we shop.
Absolutely. And for a historical touch, the Silk Road was a network of ancient trade routes used by merchants to transport goods between East and West.
It's fascinating how trade has connected cultures for centuries. Now let's talk about a word that embodies compassion and forgiveness: mercy.
Mercy is a powerful concept. It's about showing kindness and leniency, especially when you have the power to punish. Think of it as an act of grace and understanding.
Like, the judge showed mercy and gave the defendant a second chance, believing in the possibility of rehabilitation.
A truly compassionate act. Or how about this? The villagers pleaded for mercy from the invading army, hoping to spare their lives. A desperate plea for compassion in the face of overwhelming force.
And sometimes it's a bit more lighthearted. Please have mercy on my singing voice. I know I'm terribly out of tune.
We've all been there. Now let's tackle a pair of words that often cause confusion. Mere and merely.
Mere and merely. They sound so similar but have subtle differences.
You're right. Mere emphasizes something's smallness or insignificance. It's like saying, it's just this little thing. For example, it took a mere 10 minutes to walk to the park.
So it minimizes the effort or importance, right? Like, it's no big deal.
Exactly. While merely often clarifies that something is nothing more than what's stated, it sets boundaries and clarifies intentions. For instance, I wasn't criticizing you, I was merely offering a suggestion.
So it's about providing context and avoiding misunderstandings. And to show how mere can be used in a sentence, he dismissed the incident as a mere misunderstanding, hoping to downplay its significance.
Perfect example. Now let's move on to a word that suggests coming together: merge.
Merge.
Yeah.
I think of two things blending seamlessly like rivers flowing into one.
You've got it. It's about combining or blending two or more things into a single entity. In a business context, you might hear, the two companies decided to merge to create a stronger market presence, hoping to expand their reach and leverage their combined resources.
Right. It's a strategic move for growth and expansion. Or, in a more everyday scenario, merge carefully onto the highway, paying attention to the traffic flow, ensuring a smooth and safe transition.
And for a more poetic touch, as the sun set, the colors of the sky merged into a breathtaking panorama, creating a stunning display of nature's artistry.
Speaking of coming together, merger is that official term we often hear, especially in the business world.
Exactly. It refers to the formal process of two or more entities combining to form a single entity. Think of it like this. The merger of the two airlines created the largest carrier in the country, reshaping the industry landscape.
Or, the proposed merger was met with skepticism from some investors who worried about potential job losses, highlighting the complex economic implications of such a move.
And you could even say, the merger of the two schools led to a wider range of academic programs for students, offering more diverse educational opportunities.
Okay, let's talk about something deserving of recognition: merit.
Merit. It signifies inherent worth or value, often associated with achievement or deserving recognition. Think of it like this. The scholarship is awarded based on academic merit, recognizing students with exceptional achievements and potential.
So it's about earning recognition through hard work and talent.
Right, exactly. It's not about privilege or connections. It's about genuine accomplishment. Or, his arguments, while controversial, had some merit, prompting further discussion and debate, acknowledging the validity of his points.
And to use it more casually, that movie deserves all the awards it's getting. It has serious merit, a testament to the filmmaker's artistry and storytelling.
Agreed. Now let's dive into the world of figurative language with metaphor.
Metaphor. This was a bit more abstract, isn't it? It's about making comparisons to create a deeper meaning.
You're right. It's a figure of speech that creates a comparison between two seemingly unrelated things, but without using like or as. For example, the classic metaphor, life is a journey, suggests that life is a process with ups and downs, twists and turns, and ultimately a destination.
It's about finding those hidden connections and deeper meanings.
Exactly. Or how about this? Her voice was music to his ears. This metaphor conveys how much he enjoyed listening to her speak without directly saying so.
And for a more vivid image, The city, a concrete jungle teeming with life, never sleeps. This metaphor paints a powerful picture of the city's energy and constant motion.
Beautiful imagery. Now let's shift gears to a word that often pops up in research: methodology.
Methodology. This one sounds a bit technical. What's the best way to understand it?
It's simpler than it sounds. It's essentially the systematic approach or set of methods used to achieve a specific goal, especially in research or academic fields. Think of it like this. The researchers carefully outline their methodology for conducting the experiment, ensuring reliable and valid results.
So it's like a blueprint for their research, ensuring rigor and accuracy.
Precisely. It's about establishing a clear and consistent approach. Or you could say the company adopted a new methodology for software development, aiming to increase efficiency and productivity, streamlining the processes for better results.
And it can even be applied to personal goals. My methodology for learning a new language involves a mix of immersion practice and constant review.
A personalized approach to learning. Now let's transport ourselves right into the heart of something with the word midst.
Midst. This one makes me think of being surrounded or engulfed by something.
That's a great way to put it. It signifies being in the middle or center of something, whether it's a physical location or a situation. For instance, in the midst of the chaos, she remained calm and focused, effectively managing the crisis.
Talk about grace under pressure. Or the missing keys were finally found in the midst of the clutter on her desk. A common scenario for many of us.
Definitely. And for a more evocative image, a single wildflower bloomed in the midst of the barren landscape, a symbol of hope and resilience.
A beautiful image of hope amidst adversity. Now let's talk about migration, a word that often conjures up images of journeys and movements.
You're right. It often refers to the large-scale movement of people or animals from one region to another, usually driven by factors like seasonal changes or the search for better resources. Think of the incredible sight of birds migrating south for the winter, their instinct guiding them on this epic journey.
It's a remarkable phenomenon. Or in a human context, economic hardship often drives large-scale human migration as people seek better living conditions for themselves and their families.
Exactly. Migration is often a complex interplay of push and pull factors shaping the demographics of regions and nations. And to add a historical dimension, the westward migration in the United States played a significant role in shaping the nation's history and expansion.
Okay, let's shift gears to a word that describes someone who's very assertive and passionate. Militant.
Militant goes beyond simply having strong beliefs. It implies a willingness to take forceful action to advocate for a cause. For example, the militant group staged a protest outside the embassy demanding immediate political change. They're not just voicing their concerns, they're actively seeking to disrupt the status quo.
Right, it's about taking a stand and making your voice heard, even if it means challenging authority. It can be a powerful force for change, but also potentially controversial.
Exactly. And you could even use it in a less political context. He had a militant approach to fitness, pushing himself to the limit every day with unwavering discipline.
Intense. Speaking of forceful groups, militia makes me think of armed citizens ready to defend their community.
You're right. It's a military force composed of civilians rather than professional soldiers, often called upon in times of emergency or to supplement the regular army. For example, the governor called upon the state militia to help maintain order during the natural disaster, providing support to overwhelmed emergency services.
It's like a backup force ready to step in when needed. Or, in a historical context, militias played a key role in the American Revolutionary War, fighting for independence from British rule.
And to bring it to a more contemporary setting, the local militia patrol the streets at night, deterring crime and ensuring the safety of residents.
Now let's picture a more industrial setting. Mill evokes images of those large buildings where raw materials are transformed.
Absolutely. Mill typically refers to a building equipped with machinery for processing raw materials like grinding grain or lumber. Think of the old mill on the river, its water wheel powering the machinery that grinds grain into flour, a testament to human ingenuity and harnessing natural resources.
Or in a more modern context, the steel mill employed hundreds of workers, contributing significantly to the local economy.
And mill can even be used metaphorically. The rumor mill was churning, spreading gossip and speculation throughout the town.
So it's like a place where information is processed and spread, sometimes with a bit of exaggeration. Now let's go deep underground with miner.
Miner. The individual who bravely ventures into the depths of the earth to extract valuable resources. It's a demanding job requiring strength, skill, and resilience. Imagine the miners working tirelessly in dark and dangerous conditions, extracting coal from the depth of the mine, their efforts powering our homes and industries.
Their work is essential, but often comes with significant risks.
Sadly, yes. For instance, the rescue team worked around the clock to free the trapped miners after the cave-in, a testament to human courage and the dangers of this profession.
It's a stark reminder of the sacrifices miners make.
Mm-hmm.
And to highlight their importance, the strike by the coal miners had a significant impact on the national economy, disrupting energy production and highlighting their crucial role in our daily lives.
Now let's shift to a word that emphasizes keeping things small. Minimal.
Minimal. I think of reducing something to the smallest possible amount or degree.
Exactly. It's about minimizing impact, keeping things simple, or reducing something to its essence. For instance, the storm caused minimal damage to the coastal towns thanks to timely evacuation efforts, highlighting the effectiveness of preparedness.
Or she prefers a minimalist design aesthetic in her home, with clean lines, simple furnishings, and a focus on functionality.
A great example of applying the concept to design, and you could even use it to describe effort. He put in minimal effort on the project and was surprised when he received a failing grade, demonstrating the consequences of a lack of effort.
And when you actively try to reduce something that's minimized, right?
Precisely. It's about taking deliberate steps to reduce something's size, impact, or significance. Think of it like this. To minimize the risk of injury, always wear protective gear when operating machinery.
Safety first. Or she minimized her expenses by cooking at home instead of eating out, allowing her to save money for her dream vacation.
Smart budgeting. And in a more abstract sense, he tried to minimize the importance of his mistake, hoping to avoid taking responsibility for his actions.
Let's move on to the process behind extracting those valuable resources, mining.
Mining refers to the industry and processes involved in extracting minerals, ores, and other valuable resources from the earth. It often involves large-scale operations, specialized equipment, and a deep understanding of geology. For example, coal mining was once a major industry in this region, providing jobs and fuel for generations, shaping the economic landscape.
It's a complex industry with both benefits and challenges.
Absolutely. For instance, the environmental impact of mining is a subject of much debate as people weigh the benefits against the potential risks to ecosystems, a crucial consideration for sustainable development.
Right. It's about finding a balance between resource extraction and environmental responsibility. And speaking of extracting information, data mining has become an essential tool for businesses, helping them understand consumer behavior and tailor their marketing strategies.
A modern application of the concept of mining. Now let's move on to a word with multiple meanings, ministry.
Ministry. I've heard this used in both governmental and religious contexts.
You're right. It can refer to a government department headed by a minister or a religious organization dedicated to spiritual or charitable work. The context usually makes the meaning clear. For example, the Ministry of Education announced new funding for schools aiming to improve resources and facilities, demonstrating the government's commitment to education.
Right, a key function of government. Or, in a religious context, he felt a calling to the ministry and decided to become a priest, dedicating his life to serving his community and guiding others on their spiritual path.
A path of service and devotion. And sometimes the two meanings even overlap. The Ministry of Health partnered with local churches to provide health services to underserved communities, showing the power of collaboration between government and religious organizations.
Now, minute is a word that often trips people up because it has two very different pronunciations and meanings. It can refer to a unit of time or describe something extremely small.
You're absolutely right. It's all about context. If you say, wait just a minute, I need to grab my phone, you're referring to a short period of time.
But if you say, the doctor found a minute tumor during the scan, you're talking about something tiny, almost invisible to the naked eye.
Exactly. And just for fun, you could blend the two meanings like this. I only have a minute to explain, so I'll keep it brief. The key detail is this tiny, minute piece of evidence.
Clever wordplay. Okay, let's move on to something awe-inspiring. Miracle.
Ah, miracle. It's an event that defies logic or explanation, often associated with divine intervention or extraordinary circumstances. It inspires a sense of wonder and disbelief.
Like the recovery of the critically ill patient was considered a miracle, baffling even the most experienced doctors, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit.
A true triumph against the odds. Or how about this? People from all over the world came to witness the reported miracle at the shrine, hoping for a glimpse of the divine and seeking spiritual solace.
It's fascinating how miracles can inspire faith and hope. And sometimes we use miracle a bit more casually. It'll be a miracle if I manage to finish this project by the deadline, given all the unexpected delays.
We've all been there. Now let's shift to a word that captures the feeling of deep unhappiness. Miserable.
Miserable. This one is all too familiar, especially on those gloomy Monday mornings.
Miserable describes a state of extreme unhappiness or discomfort, often accompanied by feelings of despair or dejection. It's about feeling truly wretched. For instance, the rainy weather made for a miserable camping trip with damp clothes, muddy tents, and a persistent drizzle dampening their spirits.
Ugh, I can almost feel the damnness. Or, more seriously, she felt miserable after receiving the bad news, her heart heavy with sadness and disappointment, her dreams shattered.
A poignant example of emotional misery, and to emphasize the depth of unhappiness. His heart was filled with misery after the loss of his beloved pet, the pain almost unbearable, a profound sense of grief and loss.
And when that feeling of misery persists over time, it becomes, well, misery.
Precisely. Misery refers to a prolonged state of suffering, distress, or unhappiness. It's about enduring hardship over an extended period. Think of it like this. The war brought years of misery to the region, with countless lives lost, families torn apart, and the scars of conflict etched into the very fabric of society.
A heartbreaking reality for many. Or, living in poverty can lead to a life of misery with constant struggles to meet basic needs, a cycle of deprivation and hardship.
And in a relationship context, their relationship was filled with drama and misery, a constant cycle of arguments and heartbreak, a toxic dynamic that brought them more pain than joy.
Yikes. Definitely not a healthy situation. Okay, let's talk about a word that's unfortunately become all too common, misleading.
Misleading describes information that is deceptive or gives a false impression, often intentionally. It's about manipulating the truth or presenting a distorted reality.
Like the advertisement was misleading, making the product seem much better than it actually was, leading consumers to make uninformed purchases.
A classic example of misleading marketing tactics. Or how about this? The politician's speech was full of misleading statements, distorting facts, and manipulating the audience to sway public opinion.
Dangerous territory. And in a more everyday scenario, the map was misleading, and we ended up completely lost, wandering through unfamiliar streets for hours, highlighting the importance of accurate information.
Now, our final word for today takes us into the realm of warfare. Missile.
Missile. This one immediately brings to mind images of powerful weapons and potential destruction.
You're right. It's a self-propelled projectile weapon capable of traveling long distances and delivering a devastating payload. For instance, the country developed long-range missiles capable of reaching targets across continents, raising concerns about global security and the potential for mass destruction.
A sobering thought. And the missile launch triggered international condemnation, sparking fears of escalating conflict and widespread destruction.
A reminder of the high stakes involved in such actions. And to bring it back to a less intense context, The rocket soared into the sky, resembling a miniature missile as it trailed a plume of smoke, a testament to human ingenuity and the pursuit of exploration.
Wow, what an incredible journey through language. We've covered everything from personal reflections to global events, explored the depths of human emotions, and even ventured into the realms of science and technology.
It's amazing how these 30 words from the Oxford 5000 can unlock so much meaning and understanding.
I know, right? Each word is like a key that opens up new worlds of thought and expression. What really stood out to you during this deep dive?
That's a great question. The word mentor really resonated with me. It reminded me of the importance of guidance and support in our lives, whether it's from family, friends, or colleagues. Mentors can truly make a difference in our personal and professional journeys. What about you?
For me, the word misleading really hit home. It's so important these days to be critical thinkers, to question the information we're bombarded with, and to seek out truth and accuracy. We can't just accept everything at face value.
I couldn't agree more. As we wrap up this deep dive, let's remember that language is a powerful tool. Even learning a few new words each day can enrich our understanding and communication.
So why not challenge yourself to use some of these words in your conversations or writing this week? You might be surprised how easily they become part of your active vocabulary.
And to leave you with a thought to ponder, think back to the word memorable. What steps can you take today to create a truly memorable experience? One that you'll cherish and perhaps even recount in your own memoir someday.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those words flowing.
See you next time.